Erin Preese is kind enough to join us. She, of course, is running for the brand new 57B, which for the most part is the north part of Lakeville. She's kind enough today to join us to talk about her upcoming campaign. Erin, thank you very much. I appreciate the time.
Yes, thanks for inviting me on today.
My pleasure. Now I'm going to start. I'd be remiss if I didn't bring this up. You're on the northern side of Lakeville. There was a pretty big hockey game for you guys yesterday with the Lakeville North versus Lakeville South. I tell you what, it's a testament to both programs that you guys once again had to face off for a chance to go to the state tournament. But sounds like the Southsiders got the best of you this time.
They did, yes. We have a little bit of a fun rivalry between the North and South. I am a Panther because my kids will go to Lakeville North in a few years. So, I'm partial to the Panthers, but I am still happy for the Cougars. I think, that competition and the rivalry kind of is fun for our city, and it's just it makes it more interesting to watch the games, too.
Well, it's just better, too, because Lakeville, both of them occasionally win. It's not like when Edina East and Edina West and Edina East just kept going to the state tournament and the West kind of got left in the dust, and that's when all of a sudden people on the western side saying, hey, let's reunite the school district again.
Yeah,
Hey,
we have two great teams, so we're very lucky, and it's not just hockey either. We've got some really fantastic sports programs and band programs and theater and all kinds of things here that it really helps the community pull together and be able to enjoy these things together.
I'm going to be down at Lakeville South tomorrow. Speaking of band, I mean, they got our regional band thing. My kid's going to be at that. Yeah,
great.
And so it's fantastic schools. It really is a great district, and it's a growing district, and really shockingly how quickly this district has grown and changed with it shows a little bit in that redistricting map. I don't think the numbers match up anymore. How district changed with the redistricting? It really is. Lakeville itself is one whole Senate district really now, and it's kind of north and south are split apart as far as the House districts. Is that a good way to say it?
Yeah, it changed quite a bit, more than I was expecting it to change, honestly. The House district before was pretty much all of Lakeville, and then the Senate district went south into Farmington. Mm-hmm. And now it's really changed. The House district I'm in now is really just the top northern third of Lakeville, and the A side of the district went into Elko New Market.
Okay, and it's a sign that Lakeville, and this is why you do redistrict. Is that in 10 years, that district might have had a decent representation at the beginning of it to where it was clearly lopsided, that it was underrepresented in the old form. This new one hopefully will take shape because it really is, that whole southern corridor, Lakeville, Burnsville, Eagan, all those communities down the south side, they're growing and they're growing fast.
Yeah, and especially Lakeville, we still have some farmland that's being developed. When you look around town, there's the part of town that's been here for, a few decades, but you can really see where, one farmer will sell off a chunk of land, and all of a sudden there's just a huge boom of housing that's going up. And it's constant building here. We just passed a levy to have a 9th elementary school built because we really need the space. We've got so much population growth in such a short time.
Well, and I'll put it up this, and people, you need to understand how quickly this has grown. I used to work in Iowa, down in Ames, Iowa, at a radio station down there, and so my parents lived in Minneapolis, so I'd drive down. And I remember you got south of really the ski hill, and there was nothing. Mm-hmm. There really was nothing. And what it is you're looking for expanding, you're looking for opportunity, and there's Lakeville. It's gone from, and politically, I know it still is a district the DFL cannot take lightly. They do have to go in there and fight. But it shows you the DFL influence has really spread out more from the inner city cores, and now it really is becoming much more of a DFL stronghold on that south side of town.
Yeah, it's changing, not just population-wise in numbers, but really demographically, who's moving here. We've got a lot of young families that move in because we do have such a great school system that almost everyone I spoke to last cycle said they moved to Lakeville for the schools. So we've got, younger people moving in. We've got certainly more racially, ethnically, religiously diverse people coming. And so, the whole city is really changing, and it's changing quickly.
Erin, for everyone out there, you were on with us a while back. Why don't you give everyone a little bit of background? Who exactly is Erin Preese?
Sure. Well, I am a teacher. I teach in Lakeville. And I'm also a parent. I have two daughters in the Lakeville school system. And previous to teaching in Lakeville, I was a volunteer with Moms Demand Action, which is a gun violence prevention organization.
Amen,
and I
yes.
led that at both the local and the state level. And I kind of slowly got dipping my toes into politics probably 4 years ago with just getting involved through that issue. And after a few years of that, people started suggesting that I run for office, which was kind of a surprise to me because I never pictured myself doing that. But really, I decided to kind of take a leap of faith and try it last time. I made a ton of connections with people in the community. I had so many great conversations, and I really learned a lot about what's important to people here. The election didn't go my way last time, but now it's a very different district.
Oh, yeah.
And I feel like the connections we've made in our community over the last few years have really strengthened what we need to happen here. And there's a lot of groups that are coming together that are working on shared common values and common goals. And we're really working together now, which is a huge change.
I'm gonna put the ball in the tee and let you swing away at this as a teacher. I've been ripping on these Republican bills that are clearly geared toward going after the teachers union in this state. And as you talk about Lakeville, they've got great schools down there. These are not things that need to be changed. But when you have this, that a parent can basically kick open the door of a classroom and demand without cost that all classroom materials be given to them immediately, regardless of what the teacher might be doing with the students at that point.
Yeah.
Or the fact that they want to basically give, that one of the bills wants to basically allow parents to dictate the curriculum in the classroom. And if you have 20 parents dictating individual curriculum and the teacher somehow has to make all them happy within that one curriculum, or the idea that people can go anonymously to school boards and start screaming at school boards and teachers, it is just a joke. I mean, there is nothing that puts the light and day, labels on education when you look at what Republicans are trying to do and all they're doing. Because once again, as I say, every parent has the option of homeschooling their kid. If you don't like the school district, homeschool your kid. Then you solve all these problems. The whole point of these whole things is to attack the teachers, and it is just disgusting. I'll let you comment on these bills.
Yeah, so it's, we've seen this huge focus on schools and public education in the last couple of years. And it's really clear to me and almost everybody in education that these bills are designed to keep the base, the super conservative extremists, keep them energized in a non-Trump election year. And they're looking for something to be angry about. The idea of critical race theory, it's not taught in our schools.
Nope.
I had never heard about it in my life, and I have a master's degree in teaching until it became a political, a political issue that was being pushed by the far right. And teachers aren't just out there making up things to teach. There's already curriculum. There are state standards that are reviewed by the legislature. And approved by the Department of Education. There are school boards that are elected by the people in the community that oversee the teachers in the schools. So, it's not that we're making up and teaching whatever we want. These are, well-reviewed curriculums and standards that we are teaching. And then on top of that, parents always are more than welcome to call a teacher, come to parent-teacher conferences, read our emails. I can go onto my daughter's Seesaw account or Schoology anytime I want and see what they're doing. So it's really not necessary. If a parent is concerned, they're more than welcome to pick up the phone and call a teacher and have a conversation. I don't think that everything needs to be legislated.
Well, and especially when it clearly there's an agenda to the legislation. I mean, what I find to be hilarious is, I see it not necessarily in Lakeville, but now outstate districts, school districts, they can't get teachers out there. And the people are like, why can't we get teachers out here? And I said, the first thing I say is, have you tried being nice? Have you tried being nice to the teachers? Because no one really wants to go someplace where all you're going to do is scream at them. And the reality is this is what the Republicans have become, is that all they do is scream because they have been told that screaming at the top of your lungs is somehow effective counterpoint to reality and truth. And I think that's the part that's scary here. Is here are teachers who you all are brilliant, if I can say so. I think you're all brilliant. What you guys went through in the last 2 years was just unbelievable, and you managed to get through it. And you did a pretty good job having to work on your feet there, on your toes. And yet, because there's an agenda here, the vilification of teachers never seems to end. And that's all you see with these bills. Like you said, this is just basically red meat for the base. But at the same time, there are consequences if stuff like this gets passed. And if the Republicans win the House and the Senate, they're sure going to try to pass these.
Yeah. And it's, teachers have been through the ringer, as have parents, over the last few years. And being in a public school and seeing the extra jobs that teachers do in addition to teaching curriculum, the curriculum is only a piece of what we do. As part of my job, I'm getting snacks for kids. I'm getting snow pants. I'm making sure parents had food at home and rent money during the pandemic. So it's all this unpaid labor that's not part of our official job description, but that teachers do because we care about the kids and we care about the families we work with. No one goes into teaching to become wealthy. We do it because we want to help people and we want to make those connections. And it's really a relationship-based profession. It's not, I'll give you this worksheet, you learn it, and we're done. It's based on the relationships we have with our students and with their families. That really makes a difference. And honestly, all teachers really want is to be appreciated a little bit and have a thank you card, a picture from a kid, a note from a kid. That means the world to us. And so the pressure that's been coming down from some of these far-right extremists has been probably the toughest part of dealing with the last few years. Just feeling like on top of everything we've given and done and tried to do, that now we're kind of being attacked and not supported. That's the part that's really difficult for teachers right now. By design
there. I mean, it's like, you look at
absolutely.
You look at these bills. We have a budget surplus in the state capitol. Every one of these bills is an unfunded mandate. I mean, if these are this important, you got a pile of money sitting there. You can fund these things easily. They don't even want to do that because the point of this is not basically good education policy. It's about basically hurting teachers, and I think we have to stop that. And like I said, electing you would go a long way for that. Erin Preese joining us, 57B Democrat of the day. Let's talk about other issues here. You talk about growth, and once again, this is a sign. The redistricting, the way things have changed down there, it's a sign of good growth there. When you go to the Capitol and you go to St. Paul, not only are you going to help represent the state, but you're going to represent your district individually. Talk about some of the other growth things that you want to focus on for your district.
Well, like I said, it's a lot of younger families moving in here, so schools are definitely one of the top priorities here. But in addition, I heard from a lot of people that healthcare is super important to them. Not all jobs are providing health insurance, and when you have to buy on the open market, it can be financially devastating to a family. If anything goes wrong and there's a high deductible, there should be no such thing as medical bankruptcy, in my opinion. But that's a real threat if you don't have good, affordable health care or the prescriptions that are covered if you need them. We have to make sure that people can get those prescriptions when they need them in an affordable way. Another thing that's really affecting young families down here, too, is the cost of childcare. I know my oldest now is a middle schooler, so it's been a while. But even 12 years ago when she was in daycare, it cost more than our mortgage just having one child in daycare.
That's one of the things they don't want to talk about, that with the employment change and the way employment. Why would I go work if all I'm doing is working to pay a daycare? I can just stay home with my kid. I mean, that is a problem that they not only your district, but statewide. That is something they're going to have to address, because it doesn't help our workforce to basically have people have the legitimate question of, why am I working so hard just to have someone else raise my kid?
Right. Yeah. And I think that's a huge piece in, why there is employee shortage right now, is that I know for myself, when I, had my second child, looking at what daycare would cost versus what I made as a teacher, it did not make sense for me to work anymore.
Yeah.
I saved money by staying home with them. So I can only imagine that now as health or childcare costs have even increased since then, that a lot of families are looking at the budget and thinking, why would I take a minimum wage job if it doesn't even pay for daycare?
Exactly.
So, we need affordable wages, but we also need affordable daycare if we want people to get back to work.
Absolutely. I mean, same with me. And that was a discussion my wife and I had not 20 years, about 17 years ago. It's like, wait a second here. Maybe one of us should stay home. And because it was a, you were losing, and you could see it getting worse and worse even back then. So obviously we need you in St. Paul. I think we've all learned something today, people. We need Erin in St. Paul. This is a district we can win, but it is a district that if we do not take seriously, we won't. Because even though that this district has been trending more and more on the DFL side, there still is a lot of Republicans down there. We need people to go down and help out in 57B, basically the north side of Lakeville. Erin, if people want to volunteer, donate, and get in touch with you, how do they do that?
You could go to my website, which is erinpreese.com. And I would love any type of help people are willing to give. Like you said, it's trending more blue for sure. It's winnable, but it's going to be a tough battle. So it's going to take a lot of time and effort from a lot of people, because as I know from last time I ran, I cannot do it by myself. So I was completely dependent and thankful for all the volunteers that came out last time. And I'm really looking forward to meeting new people and having new energy in the campaign this time.
More districts in this state voted for Biden than they voted for Trump. But Republicans can throw enough money at a district that can change that outcome. We cannot allow that to happen in 57B. Just once again, right on the south side of town, north part of Lakeville. You can go door knock easy. It's a fantastic community, too. You can go get some good food, go out and enjoy yourself, have a good time. Have a nice little weekend trip. If you're in the cities, get down there. Help your local DFLer. But get down there and help Erin Preese in 57B. That's ERINPREESE.com. I'll link to everything a little bit later on. Erin, good to talk with you again. All my best this time around. Let's see if we can get you into St. Paul.
Oh, thank you so much. It was great to talk with you.
It was absolutely wonderful chatting with you. Erin Preese, a Democrat of the day, 57B. Let's take a break, come back, wrap up hour number 1 when we do return. It is the Matt McNeil Show right here on AM 950.